Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick video showing you guys how to make scatter plots on Google Sheets. So this is my example. Um, and in this example problem, we figured out the force used to lift 10 different boxes. And we took the weight of the boxes in pounds, the volume of the boxes in cubic inches, and the surface area of the boxes in square inches. So we're going to create some scatter plots and look for trends to figure out if the force depends on how much weight, how much volume, how much surface area. So I'm going to go up to, not data, no, whatever. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this little chart icon, insert chart. I guess it's going to take a while to open up, but that's okay. Before you do this, one thing you need to make sure of is your data shouldn't have any, move it over. Your data table should only have numbers. So the unit is already up in the title at the top, the first row. And so all of these should just be numbers. If you had written in 60.0 LB, 57.3 LB, it's not going to work very well. So here's what we're going to do. So we've got the scatter chart already set up, but I want to create 3 scatter plots. One for weight versus force, one for volume versus force, and one for surface area versus force. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to data range. And I'm going to say that the first data range I have, we're going to first start with weight. So weight is column B. So I'm going to say B1 to B11. And then force is column E. So E1 to E11. And we're going to say okay. And then you should make sure, let's see if this came out correctly. It did not. Actually, it did. So combined ranges should be on horizontally, and it shows me that my x-axis is weight in pounds, and my series, which is really kind of the y-axis, is force used to lift the box in newtons, which is great. Down here, if you have headers, which you should, so these are headers, meaning that the first, for crying out loud, meaning that the first row are the labels or the headers, then you should click on that. Let's see. I'm going to double click on this to open up. Yep, over there. So I'm going to use row 1 as headers. Column B is labels. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be clicked too. So make sure those two things are clicked. Okay, so right now, if I look at my scatter plot, I can see some issues. So first of all, I need to title both the actual scatter plot itself and the 2 axes. So I'm going to change this to weight versus force, and I put weight with pounds, force in newtons. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to change this. Remember, it told me that the x-axis was weight, and I'm going to put, first of all, I'm going to label my variable as weight, and I'm going to put the unit in as pounds. And you can see as I'm clicking on like the different sections, it's changing over here. There's no vertical axis title, so I'm going to go over here where it says horizontal axis title. I'm going to change that to vertical axis title, and I'm going to say this is force in newtons. Okay, so again, force is our variable, newtons are our units. Okay, the other thing I notice is that it looks like force, it starts down at 0 and goes up to 400. Great. Over here, it doesn't start at 0, and I do want my scatter plot to start at 0. So I'm going to go to over here. I'm going to go to horizontal axis, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to put a minimum value of 0. And that shows it shows it from 0 to 75 or 70, whatever, because I'm sure, let's see, our highest weight is 78. So I'm sure it goes up to like 80 basically. Okay, and that's how you do that one. In order to do the other two, you do the same thing, right? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to hit this button again, insert chart, and now I'm going to do volume. So I'll do C to E. So over here with our data range, I've got C1 to C11. I'm going to add another range E1 to E11 and hit OK. This is a column chart. So if it doesn't come up as a scatter plot, click on that and go down here, scatter. Don't use this one, that's weird. Okay, and we have that. And then again, I'm going to make sure that I label or I title it. So if it doesn't already have a title, you can go on customize, chart and axis title. So I'm going to start with my chart title, which is going to be volume, and I'll put cubic inches versus force in newtons. Okay, and that shows up there. Then I'll switch it to horizontal axis. That's also going to be volume in cubic inches. And then I'll do my vertical axis title, which is force in newtons. Okay, that's all done. I take a look, I see again that my volume is not starting at 0, so I'm going to change my minimum value on the horizontal axis to be 0. Boom, there we go. And if I go back to the setup, again, I'm just going to double check down here. Row 1 should be a header, so I'm going to click on that. These two should be clicked off, okay? And then I would do the same thing for the third one. So when we're looking at these scatter plots, and you guys should know this from like math class and stuff like that, this one shows a very strong correlation, right? So as the weight goes up, the force needed to lift it goes up. Over here, the volume doesn't really show much of a correlation because you can see the highest volume does not have the highest force. It doesn't even look like an outlier. Like if you just kind of cover that up and then look at the rest of the data, there's no real solid trend. And spoiler alert, if you made a scatter plot for surface area versus force, you would see that that would be similar to volume. So based on this data, if I was choosing what variable causes you to have to use more force to lift a box, it would be the weight, not the volume of the box. And then if I had done the square surface area of the box, you would see something like this. The last thing, if you want to copy and paste these charts, go over here to the three dots and literally go down to copy chart. So when you need to copy your scatter plots into your documents, copy that, go to your Marble Speed Lab, which is up here, and then hit paste, and you're all set. Okay? Have fun.